The deep, bone-rattling growl of old Ironsides pulsed through the steering wheel, up my arms, and straight into my jaw. Next to me, Jimmy, with his oil-smudged hands and a grin that screamed trouble, looked like he'd just hit the jackpot at a biker bar. He flipped a pointless switch on the dash's own edition. Pure Cheyenne, the amber beacons atop our beast of a truck started their slow, predatory spin. "You dead sure about this, Nate?" He hollered over the diesel roar, loud enough to make Mrs. Larson's prize spaniels 3 blocks away yowl in panic. "Claire's gonna lose her mind. My insurance sure as hell doesn't cover HOA-induced heart attacks." I clutched the grab bar, my grin sharp and a little unhinged. Ahead, at the end of our quiet Willow Creek Lane, the scene was already a powder keg. A plain white van from Eco Clean Solutions sat stranded, blocked by a petite woman who was, at that moment, the white-hot core of my frustration. "Claire!" I shouted back to Jimmy, adrenaline spiking like a shot of my hottest chili blend. "That's the whole damn point. She wants a spectacle? We're about to deliver 12 tons of industrial-grade drama. Blast the air horn when we hit the corner, make it cinematic." Jimmy's grin widened. "You got it, Captain Nate." How did I, laid-back guy with dreams of crafting artisanal hot sauce that could set taste buds ablaze while respecting city noise laws, end up waging war on my homeowners association president with a retired military hazmat rig we called Old Ironsides? It all started, as most neighborhood sagas do, with a tiny mishap and a whole lot of Claire. It began with such promise. My shed, once a graveyard for broken lawnmowers and half-finished woodworking projects, was being reborn as Nate's Inferno Sauce Company. 2 brothers, Hank and Leo, who looked like they'd arm-wrestled grizzlies before settling into carpentry, were putting the final touches on my dream. A state-of-the-art, soon-to-be licensed kitchen. Today was the big day pepper apocalypse, I called it. A day that'd go down in legend, though I had no clue just how. "Hank, you sure this vent hood could suck a tennis ball through a straw?" I asked, tugging at my too-tight lab coat, labeled Chief Flavor Alchemist for extra flair. Hank, a man of grunts over words, tightened a bolt. "Nate, with the peppers you're cooking, we're lucky we don't need hazmat suits. One slip, and you'll be seeing sound for a month." Leo, crawling out from under a shiny new sink, wiped sweat off his brow. "He's right. My buddy Joey tried making habanero jam once. Coughed mid-chop, burned his nose hairs clean off, never smelled right again." I laughed, though my nerves jangled. They weren't kidding. My peppers crosses of ghost chilies, Trinidad Marugas, and something my supplier called Viper's Fong were weapons grade. Then came the spill. Not a Hollywood explosion, but a slow-motion disaster. I was MOVYing a tray of fresh pepper mash, a glowing red sludge that smelled like molten regret, when my elbow clipped the counter. The tray teetered. Hank's eyes bulged. Leo muttered what sounded like a plea to the patron saint of kitchen safety. Splat. A pint of fiery goo splattered across the pristine concrete floor. The smell went from handle with care to evacuate the county. "Well," I squeaked, staring at the mess, "that's suboptimal." Hank peered at it, face grim. "Ain't plutonium, but it ain't potpourri either. You need pros for this, Nate. Not 'cause it's deadly, 'cause if Claire smells this and sees you with a sponge, she'll have a National Guard here by lunch." He was right. Claire, our HOA tyrant, had a nose like a bloodhound and a rulebook thicker than a dictionary. A pro cleanup was overkill for a chili spill, but it was my shield against Claire's wrath. Or so I thought. I hadn't even Googled hazmat for spicy oops when her shadow loomed in the shed's open door. Claire moved like a ghost, silent for someone whose voice could shatter glass. "Nathan," she called, her tone dripping with suspicion, eyes scanning like a hawk's. She hadn't spotted the spill yet, still on the driveway, nose twitching. "What is that odor? It's offensive and, frankly, alarming." I stepped out, blocking her VYEW of the red crime scene, forcing a grin. "Morning, Claire. Just cooking up something special. Secret recipe, you know." I winked. It landed like a pebble on a tank. Her icy blue eyes narrowed. "It smells unapproved, Nathan. Per Article 5, Section B, all residential scents must be pleasant. Think fresh bread or mowed lawns. This," she sniffed, "is neither." Hank and Leo busied themselves with a random shelf, backs turned. "It's safe, Claire," I said, aiming for calm but hitting mildly freaked. "Just bold, like your prize dahlias." Her lips thinned. She scribbled on her ever-present clipboard, the sound like a guillotine dropping. "I'll be watching, Nathan," she said, voice low, as if I'd just plotted a coup. She marched off, Leah VYing a chill even my peppers couldn't burn away. I called Eco Clean Solutions, whose tagline "No mess, too messy" felt right. The guy, Tom, was chill. "Pepper oil? Yeah, we've seen it. You're not running a Black Ops lab, are you?" I laughed, assured him it was just sauce, and got a quote that stung less than the spill's fumes. A van would arrive in an hour. Hank and Leo took a lunch break, perched on their truck's tailgate like they'd bought tickets to a cage match. "My cousin Sal had an HOA prez like Claire," Leo said, biting into a sub. "Started over a tacky mailbox. Ended with a lawsuit and Sal painting his shed HOA-approved taupe. Soul-crushing." I nodded, calling my wife, Ellie, who was at work, blissfully unaware. "Hey," I said when she picked up, small heads up. "Claire's on a rampage about smells. Called a Hazmat team to be safe." Ellie sighed. "Nate, is this angry letter small, or you blew up the shed with your curry small?" "Somewhere in between. Pepper thing. No flamas, isu." She groaned. "Just don't tank our home value before I'm back, okay?" Famous last words. An hour later, EcoClean's van rolled up white, professional, low-key. Out stepped Greg, the lead, clipboard in hand, all business. And there, like she'd teleported, was Claire, arms crossed, clipboard up like a shield. She looked like a furious librarian guarding forbidden scrolls. Greg approached. "Afternoon, ma'am. EcoClean, here for a cleanup at Nathan's." Claire cut him off, voice like a whip. "No, this van is an eyesore. What toxins are we dealing with? Is Nathan brewing nerve gas?" I jogged out, wiping my hands. "Claire, it's a pepper spill. Food grade." I called them to be thorough. She glared. "This is my street, Nathan, under HOA covenants. This filth mobile is causing aesthetic distress. Mrs. Grover is upset." We glanced across the street. Mrs. Grover, 80 and sweet, was watering her zinnias, looking more puzzled than distraught, maybe hoping for a snow cone truck. Greg, ever calm, showed her his license, work order, and safety sheets. "Ma'am, it's like spicy cooking oil. 20 minutes, we're gone." Claire scoffed. "Food grade? That's what they say." She launched into a bylaw to read Article 8, Section F, demanding vehicles be painted in serene sage and emit under 38 decibels. "Your van," she hissed, "is a garish white and exceeded 40 decibels pulling in." My neighbor Zach, who materialized whenever chaos brewed, was already streaming it. "Yo, it's on. HOA Queen versus Sauce Guy. She's dropping decibel stats. The spicy siege." Greg's calm cracked, his eyes pleading. Hank and Leo, now openly laughing, munched sandwiches. My patience thinner than a jalapeno skin snapped. Not just her blockade, but the sheer lunacy of it. She wanted intimidating? I'd give her a show. I dialed Jimmy, voice low. "Jim, how's old Ironsides? Got an HOA mess that needs persuasion. How fast can you roll her out?" "Full lights, buddy." Jimmy cackled. 3 minutes, Nate. Ironsides hasn't strutted in ages. Consider it handled." To Greg, I grinned. "Stall her 3 minutes. Ask about mailbox height rules. That'll keep her busy." Greg blinked but nodded, turning to Claire, who was ranting about reflective van windows scaring sparrows. Then a cameo low rumble like a dragon waking up. The ground shivered. Zach's camera swung. Earthquake. Armageddon. Around the corner roared old Ironsides, a 6x6 ex-military beast, painted screaming yellow, dwarfing Greg's van. Its tank empty, but Claire didn't know loomed. Jimmy, grinning like a madman, flipped on the beacons, strobing the tidy lawns. He hit the air horn, a blast that could wake the dead. Claire froze mid-rant about fish migration. Her clipboard fell, clattering. Greg snorted, then laughed. Mrs. Grover dropped her watering can. "Good heavens, are we under attack?" she quavered. Hank and Leo choked on their lunch, doubled over. I sauntered up, cool as could be. "Claire," I said, loud in the sudden quiet. Since EcoClean's van didn't meet your exacting standards, I called in a specialist. Meet Decon Unit 512, ready for rogue chili spills or, say, overzealous HOA presidents. Claire sputtered, face cycling through red, purple, and panic. This tank. You brought a tank here. This VYOLATS. Everything. Jimmy leaned out, cheerful as ever. Technically, ma'am, she's a tactical hazmat response vehicle. Street legal, papers right here. He waved a binder that looked like it held the IRS code. Dressed in a stained hazmat suit, he hopped down, inspecting Ironsides with theatrical flare-kicking tires, flipping fake switches, even sniffing a wheel like a sommelier. Claire teetered between rage and shock, mumbling about axle weight limits. Jimmy, gleeful, noted Ironsides was just under local caps unless loaded with foam, which she wasn't. Greg's team, barely holding it together, grinned. Zach's stream exploded. The HOA jetting. Claire grabbed her phone. Police. There's a chemical warfare truck. Send SWAT. Officers Daniels and O'Malley rolled up, their cruiser a toy beside Ironsides. Daniels, young and eager, blinked at the scene. O'Malley, who looked done with life since the 90s, sighed. Dispatch said toxic tank. Really? Claire surged forward. Officers, this man's unleashed a weapon. O'Malley deadpanned to Daniels. Noted. Suspect armed with big yellow truck. I raised my hands. Officers, just a mix-up. Had a chili spill called EcoClean. Claire thought their van was too ugly, so I brought in my friend's legal, insured response vehicle. Jimmy, playing it straight, offered his binder. O'Malley kicked a tire. Roadworthy? Jimmy beamed. Passed inspection last week, sir. Daniels, stuck with Claire's litany of my past since-to-tall marigolds. A gaudy doormat looked pained. O'Malley cut in, voice firm but kind. Ma'am, it's a loud, ugly truck, but it's legal and on his land. Unless he's hosing your dahlias with napalm. We're limited. To me, he smirked. You're enjoying this too much, kid. I feigned shock. Just meeting Claire's high emergency standards, sir. He shook his head. Keep the Army surplus for parades, yeah? And let EcoClean do their job. The cops left, amused but uninvolved. Claire retreated, fuming, to her yard, glaring from her dahlias. EcoClean's cleanup took 15 minutes bads, lemon-scented spray done. Greg handed me the bill, chuckling. Nate, in 20 years, I've never had a military escort for a salsa spill. You're a nut, but a legend. Hank cackled. Ain't seen this since my uncle dropped a tractor in a lake. Leo grinned. Next time, you airdropping your groceries to Dodge, Claire? Ironside stayed parked, a yellow warning. Jimmy drove off, promising to return for floral emergencies. Zach's VY Deo, suburban smackdown. HOA tyrant versus hazmat hero, went VY Row locally. Mrs. Grover brought burnt cookies, calling me brave for facing that beast. My shed felt like a fortress, but I knew Claire wasn't done. Then the letters came. First, a $20 $20 fine for olfactory nuisance. I pinned it to my fridge with a pepper magnet. Then 2 more, a cease and desist for oversized vehicle loitering and a demand for an air quality report. Hank laughed. Smell consultant? She made that up. Leo smirked. She's still sore about that sage paint jab. More followed fines for uneven pavers, shiny windows, even my overly chipper doormat. Neighbors split. Mrs. Larson avoided me. Mr. Finch gave sly thumbs-ups. Zach's dramatic readings fueled the fire. Mrs. Grover tried a peace tea. Claire and I both declined. Claire's dahlias were her pride, tended like royalty. One morning, Hank, MOVYing leftover paint, tipped a can of eco-friendly primer. A breeze carried tiny white specks on her prized Empress Victoria blooms. Claire's scream could have cracked pavement. She pounded my door, while VYing a speckled leaf like a smoking gun. You've poisoned my dahlias. Chemical warfare, Nathan. I blinked groggy. Claire, I don't own Agent Orange. Hank mouthed, the primer, panic in his eyes. I showed her the harmless paint can. She wasn't VYing it. Lost in a rage-fueled VY shown of floral genocide. You'll regret this, she shrieked, storming off. By noon, our lane was a circus cops, fire trucks, an EPA hotline intern, and a Channel 8 cameraman. Claire, clutching her laminated leaf, ranted about my toxic assault. Daniel sighed. O'Malley looked ready to quit. Zach filmed, gleeful. An idea hit wilder than Ironside's debut. I called Jimmy. Code Dahlia. Ironsides, full gear, 200 gallons of tap water. We're washing flowers. An hour later, Ironsides rolled in, beacon solemn. Jimmy and I, in crisp hazmat suits and fake respirators, stepped out like moonwalkers. I faced the crowd, Claire, jaw dropped. Cops, weary, Zach ecstatic. Folks, I boomed. Due to an alleged floral contaminant, we're launching Botanical Salvation Protocol Zeta. Jimmy, dead serious, hooked a gentle mist nozzle to Ironside's tank filled with plain water. We misted Claire's dahlias with reverent care, suits crinkling, Hank and Leo dabbing petals like art restorers. Zach lost it. He's GIVYing her flowers a spa day with a war machine. Tefaba. Claire stared, speechless. Her dahlias gleamed, the paint specks gone. Then Mrs. Grover, bless her, chimed in. Oh, those white bits, Claire. Little Timmy from down the lane was painting butterflies with washable chalk. Got some on your blooms, poor dear. Claire blinked at her pristine dahlias. At us, at Ironsides. Something broke. She didn't yell or quote rules. She just shook her head, walked inside, and shut her door. Zach muttered. He broke her. The sauce saves. Days later, Willow Creek was quiet too quiet. Claire gardened silently. No glares, no letters. O'Malley stopped by as I loaded Inferno sauce. Nate, you didn't beat City Hall, you drowned it in its own flowers. Never seen Claire mute in 30 years. Keep Ironsides for doomsday, yeah? I nodded. Ironsides left with a honking lap, scaring the spaniels again. My sauce, especially Claire's Curse Ultra Hot, sold out, fueled by Zach's VY Deos. Neighbors Vispera Saus Savior. Mr. Finch winked. Mrs. Grover left daisies, calling me Bloom Tamer. Zach pitched a reality show. I passed. Then, a week later, I found a single Empress Victoria dahlia on my Matno note. No thorns. Was it Claire's truce? A retreat? Or a sign she was plotting? Drafting rules to ban mist particles or sauce dreams? I set the bloom by my workbench, bottling Ironside's wrath. The lane was calm, but the fight felt far from over. One thing was sure, any toxins here would be my call. What do you think, did Nate go too far with old Ironsides? Or was Claire's HOA tyranny begging for a takedown? Should he have de-escalated? Or was the floral spa day pure genius? Drop your take below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more epic neighborhood showdowns. Was that dahlia a peace offering, or is Claire cooking up revenge?